Coming to you from the New World, this is Mushi Weekly. I'm your host Divvens, and joining me today is the tactical mastermind Takt.
Hi, I'm Takt. Hello.
And the James Cameron from Down Under, Recoilation.
Hello, everyone.
And the one and only Lady Riven.
Hello there.
And this is the 8th episode of your official OJ podcast where we discuss and review the latest One Piece chapter. To start it off, I'll give you a summary of the previous chapter. As Rebecca makes her way to the waiting area, she realizes Lucy isn't the same Lucy. Viola helps Luffy, Zoro, and Kinemon infiltrate the palace. Frankie's fight against the hard-boiled Signor Pink is interrupted by an unexpected visitor, Vice Admiral Bastille. It all wraps up with Fujitora showing his sense of justice and revealing his goal of abolishing the Shichibukai system. Now to start it off with this chapter number 736, titled Executive Officer Diamante, I'll describe the chapter briefly. The arc up until now has kept all fans at the edges of their seats. Me, you, everyone. It's just been a roller coaster ride which is going up way. It hasn't even started going down way yet. And this is where Oda decides to take the arc to an all new level. We are nearing the showdown of not one, but two battles of epic proportions. Diamante's devil fruit being revealed adds a lot more to his character, especially in the arena type of battles where he can practically render any weapon useless. We also see the classic impatient and danger-loving Luffy finally making his move. I mean, every fan had a smile on their face when they saw Luffy just not care about being silent at all. That's just classic Luffy. We also witness Lao Ji being a total badass, and at the end, we see a 20-feet rock golem appear, who not only surprises the fans, but turns out to be Pika. And to start it off, we'll discuss about the cover page, which was the cat burglar Nami having her treasure stolen by the cats, which is quite ironic. So she's the thief, so you'd expect that she'd spot other thieves. What do you guys think of the cover page, guys? Takt?
I thought this cover page was funny, especially the fact that the cats were stealing from Nami, who's the cat burglar herself, and Nami's just posing with the diamond. So yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, and the thing, even the flag or whatever they're carrying, the cloth even says "not thieves."
Not thief, yeah. Like as if that's some sort of disguise to hide behind, yeah.
And Recoil, what's your take on it?
I really like the hat or whatever it is that the cat with the sax got on. It's designed after the Miramare no Mi sort of, I believe. I don't know, like a devil fruit sort of thing.
Or a devil fruit, I think.
Yeah.
Just like a general devil fruit.
Yeah, it's just got that sort of design going on. So I really like that part of it. It's just a cute looking cover page. So I liked it.
I thought it was adorable cover page. I really liked it. I liked how the backwards says "not thief." That was really cute. Yeah, I liked the juxtaposition of the burglar being robbed, or cat thief being robbed by cats who are thieves. It was nice. It was a good request.
Did anyone notice the small little rat walking by and the second cat actually staring at the rat in some way?
Yeah.
It's really hilarious.
That was funny.
And also the sack has present for Nami written on it.
So I wonder what's going to be next. I think it's Sanji up next on the cover pages.
Sanji
he was there last week.
So,
Sanji was the armadillos.
Oh yeah. So we have seen Luffy. Have you seen Luffy?
No, it's been Usopp, Sanji, and Nami. I can remember those three.
Could be anyone, probably.
So it's going to be the Straw Hats itself, and it will end with Vivi. And let's see. I hope the next cover story is going to be a lot more interesting than the Caribou one.
I've got an idea for that, actually. Once this arc's over, we have to have Senior Pink cover pages, just for the rest of One Piece.
Oh yes.
You Senior Pink fans want...
The seasoned hard-boiled adventures of Senior Pink. That'll be like the best cover page to finish One Piece with.
He'll just be brushing everywhere he goes with his shoe brush. Yeah. Or whatever that is.
A shoe brush, man. I still haven't gotten over the fact that he was brushing the shoe brush.
But believe me, I have not either.
Yay.
Alright, that's it for the cover page. Not much to discuss except Nami getting thieved, and only if she catches those cats. I can't imagine what those cats will have to suffer, poor things. And moving on to the summary of this chapter. As the 4 winners of the respective block battle royale and Diamante entered the ring, a trio of gladiators from Block D rushed to attack Rebecca, not accepting their defeat. But Diamante intervenes and easily knocks them away, revealing his devil fruit power to everyone. He also reveals a new obstacle. One of the new boss-class fighting fish is guarding the prize, and the goal is to steal it and remain the last man standing. So now it's not just enough to defeat all the contestants in the ring, they also need to steal the Mera Mera no Mi from one of these fighting fishes, and they need to be the last one standing after doing that, or defeat them first and then steal the Mera Mera no Mi. With the sound of the gong, the battle for the Mera Mera no Mi begins. At the palace, the group makes plans to cautiously sneak inside in order to avoid alarming the enemy. But instead of being cautious, Luffy, the impatient pirate he is, destroys the palace entrance door, causing the group to ditch their disguises and fight their way in. Doflamingo hears the news that Luffy is in the palace while watching Lucy fighting on the screen. This angers him and he demands to know what is going on. Inside the harbor lift, Lao Ji has stumbled upon Thunder Soldier's squad and proceeds to prevent them from reaching Doflamingo. As Luffy's group, except Kinemon, fight their way in, they are caught by surprise when a large castle wall transforms into Pika, who is now standing in their way as a giant rock column. Okay, so this chapter was great, and we all liked the chapter. Many things happened in this chapter, and to give his initial thoughts, first up is Recoilation.
Thank you, Divvens. So, it was a really enjoyable chapter. I really liked, in the end, Diamante's fruit and what it was. I had doubts when I heard it because I checked the spoilers, but it turned out a lot better than I thought it would be, and it's a really nice, versatile fruit. So, they had the little device there where a bunch of Sammys came running out trying to stop Rebecca from being in the thing, and then Diamante played the hero of the Colosseum as he is, and just took them out and fed them to the fish. So that was enjoyable. We got to see a bit more of Sabo, but biggest cock tease ever because we just see a scar and a bunch of huge shades and all that. So I like that part. Luffy breaks into the palace, in the only way he could, just simply breaking off and just knocking everyone out with a gear third punch. But that was just classic Luffy. Not much else to say there. What you can say though is that Kinemon is missing, and I was really curious about that. It's pretty obvious what he's probably going to be doing, but it just went missing pretty nonchalantly, so I'll see where that goes. And then one of my favourite parts of the chapter, my favourite panel especially, was Doflamingo wondering who the fuck Sabo is, and just seeing Doflamingo rage. Any of those panels are just awesome. As the more we've seen him, the more he's seethed and raged, everything Law and Luffy and all them do. It's just, it doesn't get old because I love Doflamingo as a character. So, it's a good panel. And then, well, actually, again, my favorite part of the chapter was one of the weird parts of the chapter was when Lao Ji was finally introduced, because he's one that I've been really looking forward to. He's been the highest in Diamante's division, the hand-to-hand combat. And I was expecting him to be one of the only non-Devil Fruit fighters in this family, and it seems like he may be. And he seems really fast to go with the dwarves, really strong to take him out, and he's also got sort of Zoro issues. So, as well as that, he's got some funny quirks with his G, and what he's saying before, and his posing and all that, so I love a bit of loud G. Hopefully that fight actually goes well. And for the final initial thought, I really like Pika. Finally we get something on him. He hasn't said anything and he's just been there, some big muscly, imposing dude. And now we see this massive stone rock golem sort of thing just come out of the wall, and I was just like, holy crap, this is awesome. And I'll probably discuss this later, so there's no point mentioning it now as much, but I don't know what kind of devil fruit that is, and that makes me excited, because it could be any of the three at this point. A lot of people theorying for all three of them, so I can't wait to see. It's getting closer to the fights, like fights everywhere, so I'm so looking forward to the next few chapters, see it all develop. And those were my initial thoughts. And next with their initial thoughts is Divvens.
Thank you, Recoil. I share the same thoughts as Recoil, because even I read the spoilers, and in fact I translated the spoilers this week. And the initial translation of the devil fruit, which Diamante has, was actually flap fruit. And many jokes was made about it. You can read the spoiler threads if you're interested to know what jokes were made about it. At first it sounded lame. Everybody was like, oh, this is going to be such a lame power. But when the chapter came out, it's shown once again that Oda can make anything useful. I mean, flutter, man. You would think, what the hell is flutter, okay? And he just shows that he can make anything flutter. A solid object, he can make it flutter. He even showed transforming his sword into what looks like a bull, and then he made that attack on people, as Recoil said, the Sammys running up to stop Rebecca, who were displeased with the results of Block D. So his fruit power adds a lot to his character, and especially since he is the so-called king of the Colosseum, who has not yet lost one tournament, not even lost one match. He is practically the Kairos of this century or something. This era, after Doflamingo has taken over, and it was great seeing his power, and you can only speculate what's going to happen in the final battle. Apart from that, Luffy being Luffy himself, as I said before, I'm sure everyone had a smile on their face when Luffy was no longer keeping quiet and being the silent kind. And it was funny how at first the Doflamingo family goons thought that it was a blowfish when Luffy was, transforming his hand into the Gear 3rd version. They were like, is it pufferfish? And everyone was still speculating him to be a toy of some kind, or a fish of some kind. And that was just a classic comedy, even in just before, everything goes boom, 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 everyone's speculating him to be a pufferfish. And then when Doflamingo gets the report of Luffy attacking the palace along with Zoro, and he watches Lucy, who he thinks is Luffy in the Colosseum, dodging the fighter bulls, fighting fish, whatever they're called. He rages. You can see the panel, and he's just screaming, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, he's maybe too upset that his plans are going south, but he's quite enraged now, and I just wonder, can a full-on raged Doflamingo, when he faces Luffy, what's going to be the consequences? Luffy is obviously angry due to the fact that Law is hurt and stuff, and Doflamingo is upset because an upstart rookie, whom he considers a rookie, Luffy, is ruining all his plans. So yeah, I can't wait for their confrontation. And Lao Ji, I liked his quirk, the one where he gets his hands up to make the G sign, and then I was confused when I saw the panel where he wore his glasses like instantly and then punched Kabu like it was nothing, and it's some kind of long sightedness he has. He can see stuff far away from him, but when it gets close to him, he needs to put on those glasses to see or something like that. I don't know, but his style of fighting shows that he's using his fists and martial arts, and he being in Diamante's squad now makes total sense. And I can't wait to see more, because the toy soldier said, oh no, we will make our way. I know that. So it's going to be something interesting. And than the end. I mean, who would have expected something like that to happen? All the recent endings have all been unpredictable, and all of a sudden we see this huge rock monster come out and block their way. Like, you shall not pass. Yes, I'm going to make that joke. It fits here. And people predict that Pika is going to lose instantly, but come on, he's an officer of the Don Quixote pirates. Okay, if Luffy and Zoro both face Diamante, then Diamante is at a disadvantage, but we still don't know the full extent of his ability, the full extent of how he can be the wall that, stands in the way of them and Doflamingo. So don't expect an immediate knockout or defeat. Pika is practically the first real opponent they're facing in the new world, like the first real danger. Caesar wasn't such a big danger. He was a piece of cake for Luffy to handle. The Fishman pirates were like all fodder, especially for the Straw Hat crews. Howdy put up a fight, but the rest were just, like Zoro dealt with his opponent like he was nothing. So this is going to be their first real challenge in the new world. And even if Luffy doesn't fight, at least we know Zoro is going to fight in some way. And Kinemon is missing. I just need to add that. So overall, this chapter was really nice. I like where this is going because we are going to see action soon. But I still miss Sanji, and I request Oda to please show us a bit of what is going on with Sanji. And that's all for my initial thoughts. Next up is Takt.
Okay, thank you, Div. My initial thoughts are going to be fairly brief because I didn't think much of this chapter, to be honest. I like the reveal of Diamante's fruit. I also like the fact that we got, almost immediately we got like a new attack or new technique or whatever you want to call it. The bowl that came out of his sword. I thought that was quite nice. And, the reveal of the fish was really nice too. And it kind of adds a new element to the battle. It's not just a straight up a fist fight between four people. You actually have fish from which you need to take the fruit. So that bit was nice. And the bit where Luffy crashes through the gates, it's classic Luffy. There's not much to say about it, honestly. And the next bit is what I like, what stood out in the chapter for me. That is Doflamingo just losing his shit. That is just funny as hell, and it's too good. It's like, what the fuck is going on? That was a fantastic page. And Laoji's intro was great too, and his little character quirks are just hilarious. The fact that when he opens his mouth, it's just this giant circle hole. It's just, I like it. And of course, the final page, which was the other thing that stood out for me in this chapter, was Pika just coming out of the wall. My God, I loved it. It's just fantastic. As a rock golem, he's going to be a good character, I can tell. So, that's it for my initial thoughts. And next up, we have Riven to give her initial thoughts.
Alright, so my initial thoughts on the chapter, I thought it was a good chapter. I liked going back to the Colosseum. Again, it's one of my favorite parts of the arc, so I'm always happy when we get to see anything more of the Colosseum. The Flutter fruit was an interesting power to have for Diamante, but I can see how it would actually be extremely useful if you have, small little platform and then water surrounding it. My first thought was that he's going to turn it into a giant bouncy castle, in which case, no wonder everyone else falls up every time, which would make him definitely the undisputed champion of the Colosseum. But if they have to get the actual fruits from the fish, it's going to be kind of interesting, considering he can't really swim. So either, you'd have to lure them or use one of the other characters to basically, hold him over the side bleeding, and, the fish will come up and they'll take the thing off the fish. I don't really see any of the contestants so far being that simple to just hold over the edge, but it is an option. I'm excited to see what happens next, at least in that storyline. Otherwise, there comes the giant blowfish pistol. The blowfish comment really amused me, or the pufferfish. I liked the little pieces of comedy throughout the chapter. That was nice to see. And then, of course, the epic realization that Don Flamingo is completely incorrect on what's going on in his island. He's just, the realization and that scream that he's into Denten Mushi is just absolutely perfect. I've been waiting for that ever since his, superiority complex took him over the edge. He was, like Boa Hancock, his nose was so far up in the air, he was looking backwards. So that was nice. I really appreciated that. I liked, how that kind of turned out. I'm not really sure about Lao Ji, honestly. His hand didn't really make a G shape either, but that was kind of semantics, I guess. I'm not really sure what to say otherwise, on Lao Ji. He just appeared. Alright, pedantics, not semantics, I guess. But then the last comment would be Pika. I loved seeing him just pop out of right there. My first initial thought of that, actually, was just, are you serious? You have a random rock/wall monster in the middle of the palace? Like, how does he eat? Like, what is he? Does he eat the rest of the palace? It's like a snack? Or, I don't really know why that came to me first. But, he just reminded me of the big, rock monsters in a Neverending Story, where they're all sitting there and they're, munching on limestone and whatnot. So that should be an interesting, fight. My guess would probably be, it'd be a Zoro, as he's been, wanting to cut stone for a while. So anyways, that would be the last of my initial thoughts, and then I believe we're moving forward now.
Thank you, Riven. So, all of us had similar kinds of initial thoughts, even though we differed at some matter of points, and that was a funny comment Cam made when Riven said that Lao Ji didn't make a G, and then Cam says, "How do you know? Are you Japanese?" So I just wanted to point that out, because we have these little comedy things going on in the Skype chat as we host the podcast, and listeners can hear in and listen to like what goes on behind the scenes. Anyways, moving on. It's time for the key points, and as we began a new format last week, we'll be continuing that format since it's much better, and we all get to discuss each and every key point. So beginning with the first key point, the final battle at the Colosseum commences. So, we see all of them just in the arena, the five contestants, and the crowd was booing Rebecca, and Bartolomeo told the crowd to go to hell. He's like, "Go to hell, you shitty audience." And then the audience is like, "No, you first go to hell." So he's just trolling the audience even now. And that was a bit funny to see. So, yeah, the first sub-point in this key point would be Diamante's devil fruit reveal, the flutter fruit. And when I heard it first, as I said earlier, it seemed a bit, like, how can a flag or flut, someone who makes things flat, be powerful or, use it in a fighting kind of way. And I just told people that if you would hear about a rubber man before you began One Piece, you would be like, what is a rubber man? That's stupid. But now you know that a rubber man can be quite powerful. So I just hope that people don't judge a fruit just by hearing the name, let it be revealed, let the user show what he's capable of, and we can then give our opinions on that rather than just going by the name. But yeah, what's your guys' opinion on Diamante's devil fruit?
I was wondering if his devil fruit can actually manipulate people at all. It hasn't shown that yet, but
indeed, yeah,
that would be really strong.
It would be
Yeah.
overpowered, because if
Yeah.
they already have Sugar, like, who can touch and make people toys, and then you have Diamante, who can touch and make people into flags, sort of. But that's not, as you said, it's not been confirmed yet if he can actually turn humans into.
Yeah.
Um,
It seems like it might be able to, but considering it's more useful in combat than someone like Khalifa or Jola's fruit, where it's like they just turn you into something else. I think that's the intention of those fruits, whereas his is like he can just forge actual weapons to fight with. So if he can do both, though, that would be mighty menacing, because I just imagine people just flapping around while he's smacking with a steel cape. It's like playing Mario 64 or something.
Well, you can take the person, and then, with each arm, he can tie it to his pole and just make flags out of everybody.
Just swings
That would be
people on
hilarious.
flags.
A
Yeah.
Jesus Burgess flag. That would be hilarious.
Blackbird may just decide to change his Jolly Roger.
Maybe that's what Rebecca's in the last fight for, to turn into a flag to fight Savo's pipe with.
It does give a new meaning to capture the flag, though. That'd be kind of interesting.
It's true.
And
I don't know, there has to be a what he could change, because he could just change the Merry no Me into, like, a pile of shit, and it wouldn't be Merry no. Actually, it wouldn't look like a devil fruit.
Oh, I wonder then, can he change the fighting fish as well into flapping things? If he can turn anything into, can't he turn the whole ring into fluttering stuff?
That's what I mean.
That's the
Bouncy
thing.
castle.
He's standing on the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not turning into a fluttering substance.
Well, technically, he has shoes.
That's
So
true.
he's not touching
might,
it,
yeah.
really.
Maybe he's not using the powers. He needs to activate
He might
it.
be able to turn Bardo's barriers into, like, nothing as well, or use it against him. There could be interesting dynamics there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because you have, what was it? One physical combat type and one guy who uses barriers, and the other two use weapons. So
And
the Diamante can take care of the weapon users easily. It just comes down to Burgess and Bartolomeo.
And people were predicting that Sabo's pole will be turned into a fluttering substance now. The pole he so loves.
He'll probably contract with Haki, to be honest. So
Well, if he turns the actual floor into something fluttering, I think Rebecca might actually have the advantage, because she would be able to kind of predict where the bounces would go, I think.
And she would be the light
can she do that?
one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
she's quick, but she's light feet. That's the advantage with her. She can be light on her feet.
And she wouldn't be bounced very high because of her weight either.
So this can be a foreshadowing of Rebecca trying to win. Oh my god, I bet many Sammys will be unhappy if that happens.
Well, the way we made this fight sounds really weird.
Yeah,
It turns into a bouncing castle where everything's
Exactly,
flapping
I
around.
was gonna say that. Sounds like a bouncing castle. Yeah.
Yes, and of course Sabo is also small and light, so he might make his run around the bouncy castle as well.
Where is this going?
I'll try.
I really want to see that.
If this turns into a bouncing castle, then Sammy's wish of, Burgess taking the whole Colosseum and throwing it, that might actually come true.
Yeah, it'll actually. He'll just pick it all up and he'll be like, no. Get
you
lost
pick it
with
all
your.
up, you throw it, and
Yeah.
the Colosseum will just bounce back on something and land in the same place.
Just flapping around.
Oh my god.
What if the whole Colosseum became a flag?
What about the whole audience then? Will they be fluttering as well?
Or maybe they'll be tossed out of their seats, just like thrown about. And maybe they'll fall into the water and become, fish food.
What if the water's flapping?
What if the water's flapping?
I don't
I
think.
don't know. Is it seawater or it's normal water? That depends,
Probably water.
Yeah, then he can maybe.
Well,
Isn't water already fluttering though?
Technically, yeah.
You put a sheet on top of the water.
Okay.
What are we talking
That
about?
would make
Yeah.
sense. That
So moving on to the next subplot, we already spoke about that. The new class of boss level fighting fish. You saw the Mera no Mi tied on the fish called number 1, and that was like, I predict that to be the strongest of all them fighting fish.
Did Diamante say it was actually tied to number one?
No,
Yeah.
Or did he say it was tied to
Sorry.
one of them?
It was tied to one of them, but we saw it tied to bull number one. He had this.
well, no, that all of
No,
bulls
that's just
have
an example, though. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily on number one.
No, the
No, no.
bull fish that attacks the three Sammys that ran into the stage was number 606, but the bull that has the Mera Mera no Mi tied to it is number 01.
Okay. Sorry, I got confused because I think in the other translation it said they all have a treasure chest on them or something. I don't know.
No. Only one of them has.
Only one.
Oh, that would be fun if all of them had a treasure chest and it was up to the contestants to find the actual.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that would be way more fun than this, where
But I
only one
guess-
of them has a treasure chest.
I guess
I
It's
agree.
going to be a bouncing dust.
but I guess this works out better because then they need to only concentrate on one fish, and that also means that the plan of the whole Colosseum, they trust these fighting bull boss fishes. So the fact that someone has to get the Mera Mera no Mi out of the box and then be the last one standing, it adds a lot more to the dynamics of this battle. Because what if somebody just catches the fish, takes out the Mera Mera no Mi and takes a bite out of it immediately? Who's going to
I
do what?
think that's the aim. That's the aim for everybody except Bartolomeo, obviously, who can't eat it,
And Diamante, I guess.
and Diamante. Yeah.
I think Diamante would just have it as a prize.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd really need to eat it so much as just be like, hey, look, I have another random treasure from the Colosseum. Let me present it back to Doflamingo because that's just what I do. I don't know. But I don't think he'd really do anything with it. Maybe he'll give it to a subordinate.
I'm wondering
one or two that could have it though.
if Diamante manages to take it out of the chest and hold it, doesn't mean the round is over, or does he have to then be the last one standing?
He has to be the last one standing.
Okay, right.
Well, they are
That's-
pirates, so he could have it in his hand and someone could just hit him king hit him in the back and then he just loses. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to follow the rules with like a Blackbeard pirate there, but you never know.
So I think what they're going to do is first they're going to concentrate. Maybe Rebecca is the only one who will be concentrating on the fish, and the others will be concentrating on the battle, the main battle.
On each other, yeah.
Yeah. Because then that sorts out the odd one out problem which we were having with Rebecca being the fifth and the weakest possibly contender in the ring as of now.
It's true. Very true.
Alright, then moving on to the we already spoke about that as well. The next sub point, which was the Mera Mera no Mi, is on one of the fighting fishes. It's, as I said, it's on one of the strongest of the fighting fishes. He even has the tattoo of 01. So we have to see what kind of role this fighting fish plays. I mean, that wicked smile in that panel, you know that fish is up to something. He's not a normal fish. He's totally up to something devious. And I wonder if the fighting fish are going to have some kind of respect for Diamante and not go after him, or are they just going to go after everyone, regardless of what status or, what kind of relationship they have with the Colosseum? What do you guys think?
Oh, I think they'll go after everybody. I mean,
Yeah, they'll go after everyone.
Even if
Yeah.
they knew Diamante beforehand, maybe they'll want revenge or something like that. It's not necessary.
Yeah, I don't think they will discriminate, so.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our next key point, which is Luffy breaking into the palace and practically making it known that he's waging war against the Don Quixote family. And the first point being that everybody was trying to be sneaky. Viola was directing the whole silence things, she was telling, okay, let's go by this path where this is another secret entrance. But Luffy was like, no, I'm just going to go Gear 3, break the palace entrance door, and we are going to raid the palace. And Luffy and Zoro are no longer disguised anymore. What was your thoughts on the whole issue with Luffy just not wanting to be silent anymore?
Oh, of course. I love the original part of it where it's just a huge hand coming out of the fish and what the hell's with this cup? Is it a puffer fish and all that? Trying to analyze the situation like a puffer fish can punch that hard. So I thought that was interesting, but it was just standard One Piece stuff where Luffy is a crazy mofo, and I don't know, it's really good to like sort of just get things going because it means that we got to see the Doflamingo panel now where he's pissed off as hell. And I really wanted to see that. I sort of wanted to see them sort of when they first clashes when they're actually within arm's reach of each other, but still, this is alright. It's like a bit more tension added, a little bit more doubt in Doflamingo's mind since things aren't going his way, so that's pretty good for that part. Where'd Fujitora go again, by the way? Has he gone to the store again, or because he's not in the palace?
No, I think we are in the same timeline of sorts.
He just like wanders off out of the room conveniently. I just don't know where he's going.
What do you
I
have
don't
to
think
say, Riv?
anyone but Fujitora really knows where he's going.
Maybe he's just taking a trip to the moon and back, you know.
A casual trip to the moon.
I'm just gonna hop over to the moon real quick, and I'll be right back. Here, peace. Want some milk? I can grab some milk on the back.
I think
Say hi to NL.
now that Luffy and Zoro and the group are just going head on, they may just face Fujitora, who is obviously taking the front door exit.
I don't know.
If Fujitora has exited the palace, then he might actually be able to detect them using observation haki.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think.
What if he's still in the palace? Do you think he's already exited towards the Colosseum? Maybe that's why Doflamingo is so angry, because he sent off Fujitora to the Colosseum.
At this point, I don't think Doflamingo can send Fujitora anywhere. Fujitora is pretty much going to do whatever he wants.
Yeah,
After what he said to Doflamingo in the previous chapter, he's not gonna, go anywhere that Doflamingo sends him. Yeah, they might meet Fujitora, they might not. Who knows?
Okay. And the next point being that Kinemon has separated from the group. He was not in the panel after they entered the castle, like he was there disguised as a frog, and then he broke off at some point when they, before the chapter ended, we just see Viola, Zoro, and Luffy there. So Kinemon has separated from the group for whatever reasons.
But he is there though.
No, he's not there. He stops being with them after entering the palace. He's there up until a certain point, but when it switches to Laoji, in fact, when even Doflamingo receives the report, there's no spotting of Kinemon, and Kinemon isn't even mentioned. There's
just a panel of Zoro slashing people, Luffy kicking somebody, and Violet just standing behind him.
Yeah, and whoever is making the report mentions only 3 people, so Kinemon is already missing by then. And by the way, during the report, we see Baby 5 and even Gladius. That's his name. Yeah. Even Gladius is there. So his hair is covered with the sort of helmet. Yeah, but Gladius is there as well. So that's something to note.
It'll be funny if that's not a helmet and that's just his hair being molded into a helmet by haki. I don't know.
I thought hair was actually you could.
Oh yeah, that's totally like a black.
Maybe it's a biker helmet molded into haki. Never know.
Yeah, you just never know.
You just never know.
Oh, to stop it from blowing, maybe. He's just using haki.
Although that pattern was good though, because I personally in the review was like wondering if anyone from Doflamingo's side of the picture is going to go over to the Caesar Big Mum situation. Mm-hmm. But if anyone would it be them two and Buffalo, and I don't think Buffalo going alone will do anything because Buffalo sucks. So I guess we won't see Gladius in action doing that, but at least you get to see him with a motorcycle helmet for the time being, or haki, one of the two. So
I would be surprised if he was just using haki to, not blow up again, because he was already so pissed off at everything happening there. He just kept blowing, and Baby 5 was like, come on, put on this helmet and use your haki to stop making it blow up or something. And then moving on to the final point of this key point, Don Quixote Doflamingo's anger and the confusion as he realizes Luffy is not in the Colosseum. Everyone has spoken about this. Everyone has mentioned the panel in which Doflamingo is just angry. You can even see the veins on his forehead like popping out. He's quite pissed off. Do you think he's going to totally lose his cool, or is he going to gain his...
He's already lost his cool.
Yeah,
Man.
he's already gone. His cool is somewhere, back in Antarctica. He's definitely enraged right now.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, he's still in a position of power because, I mean, Pika has intercepted, the what do you call it, Luffy and Zoro. And he has Baby 5, he has Gladius with him, he has Fujitora somewhere around there. So he's still in a position of power, honestly.
Well, even if he's in a position of power, he's just found out that he's been entirely duped.
Yeah.
And that kind of realization doesn't come with any form of, keeping a cool head.
That's true.
You can see his veins popping out in anger. I mean, the only other time we've really seen that was when he was pretty much screaming at Law.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very much, in sense.
Enraged?
Yes,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah.
Words, they exist.
Yeah. I like this part just because, seeing him so angry, like, he's always kept his cool. Whenever when he's battling, he's, like, really strategical and smart about his actions and confident. But now he's shown so much visible anger, especially towards the Luffy, that you never know. If they eventually clash, he'll be, like, he's not his normal self. He'll be enraged and, like, maybe attack a bit more wildly. But that could be just, like, assuming too much. But he's lost his cool so much already that you never know what his mental state will be against Luffy.
Yeah, he's just...
That's a really good point, actually. What his mental state is going to be against Luffy?
He's pissed
I
that
think that
Rookie is foiling all his plans. Like, he's confident that, Lucy is still, he believes Lucy is Luffy, and he's in the Colosseum, and then all of a sudden he realizes, okay, that's another person, so who is this Lucy? And what's going on with my plan? Do I not know I'm the king of Dressrosa, kind of,
Yeah. It's just interesting because he's like foiled everything Law attempted to do and just destroyed him, basically. Who's the smart one, and yet the dumb one, Luffy, is like avoiding him at every turn and proving him wrong, and now is about to probably clash with him. So it's like just a weird paradox. Yeah.
I think that's more of Luffy's luck, that everything is working out in his favor. And
I mean,
Luffy's unpredictable. He's brain dead, so he's unpredictable. I don't think any plan can stop Luffy.
he's not brain dead. He's just...
He's got a unidirectional mind.
He does. He has a very,
He's very more one-minded. It just goes for it.
He reminds me of me when I play RPGs in the hack and slash, where if I can't beat a boss, I just go on train war so I can hit him harder, not try to figure out a strategy. We're just gonna go and beef up a little bit more and pound him.
I can relate to that, actually.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be
every single person does that.
If I dodge here and, I pull this other move out, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go and go up another level or two, and then I'm gonna come back and just, hit it harder. I don't really care.
Yeah. If you can't just mouse click to win, then you've done something wrong with RPGs.
Yeah. I think he has that kind of mentality. It's not so much that he's brain dead, is that, he knows what works. He's, if it doesn't work out the first time, he's gonna go back and hit it harder. It's just the way he's gonna go through all these different bad guys.
That I can imagine Luffy saying that if it doesn't break in one punch, come back with a stronger punch. So something like that. And what do you think if Doflamingo is so upset that Luffy is in the Colosseum? Luffy isn't in the Colosseum, but in the palace. How upset would he be if he finds out the actual identity of the Lucy in the Colosseum?
Yeah, how upset would he be if he found out there were actually revolutionaries interfering or trying to interfere with his underground operations?
Exactly. And if...
Yeah, that would be an epic panel to watch whenever it does happen, whenever he does find out.
Yeah,
well, he does know there's something going on in the harbor.
No,
it's not...
No, he doesn't...
He may not...
Really?
No. He knows something's going on.
Didn't he say in the previous chapter that nobody can get in there or something?
Yeah. He doesn't know anything that's going on.
He doesn't know anything that's going on in the harbor. He doesn't even know that people can get in there. He thinks nobody can get in there.
I thought he asked for a report for how things were going down underground or on the harbor.
No, that's Sabo.
No.
Sabo asked for a report.
Yeah, Sabo asked for a report in the underground. He
And wait.
I go back and look now.
Where was Lao Ji sent? Was he sent to the actual underground or just to the toy factory entrance?
Lao Ji was sent to actually protect the entrance where Frankie was attacking, but he got lost, just like Zoro.
He got lost.
He entered the lift.
I saw someone said that he was like going to actually defend where Robin and Usopp are, so I was like, is he really going there? Because if he is, then Dofus might have a hunch, but he has no idea so far.
Yeah, he doesn't have an idea.
And Lao Ji just got lost and ended up in front of those.
I don't know when and how he'll find out though, Doflamingo. I can only think he'll find out when it's too late.
Yeah, when Sugar is defeated or something.
Yeah, when Sugar is defeated or something like that. Yeah.
And moving on to the third point, which we just brought up, that Lao Ji versus the toy soldiers and dwarf executive Kabu. Instead of going and heading towards the fight where Frankie was, he stays back to protect the lift from Toy Soldier and Kabu, and he reveals that this was all a twist of fate. He just got lost, and the way he worded it, he's not accepting that he got lost, you know. He has his little pride in him that doesn't allow him to say that he got lost. He just said something like, I was ordered to protect the entrance of this toy house, so I stood guard at the entrance to the port, and then I got on the lift again. In other words, I did the wrong thing. So he doesn't say he got lost, but he actually just ended up there by chance, and it turned out bad for the toy soldier. I mean, we all saw what happened to him and Kabu, and there's, I think, around 4 or 5 more dwarves left there, and Lao Ji is standing in their way, and even they are, afraid of the officer level rank, because you see them saying that of all the things an officer was riding the lift. So that somehow shows that Doflamingo wasn't scared of the dwarves up until now, because maybe the officers are enough to deal with them. Lao Ji here showcases a new style of martial arts, although it's a bit weird, I guess. Can I call it weird? But it's his stance and the arrows on his leg. Like, he's an old dude, and the kind of suit he's wearing is just...
What the hell, Oda? Why do you
keep
doing this?
He's the last airbender.
That's what I thought when I saw the arrows. I was like, oh, is that Aang's relative or something, you know?
He's in the wrong series and he's aged a little bit.
Yeah.
I just love how he has no eyes at all to be seen. He's just black in there. It's like he's got just sockets. And then he puts glasses on.
Yeah, I love that. He puts glasses on, looks at the bug, and then flicks it away.
It's so good, yeah.
And the speed at which he did it was surprising as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the dwarves are fast.
I thought it was initially, like, because of the impact lines on Kabu, it was like another string fruit, but it was just, like, coincidence. I was a bit confused by that. I thought it was a devil fruit, but it was just a really fast punch by Lao Ji. So he's I think he's just going to be just a strong hand-to-hand generic fighter for once, instead of some amazing man swimming through ground and that. He's just, like, straight up, like a haki sort of beast, I'm assuming. From this panel, like, he can read the dwarves, and, like, they are fast, so.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, dwarves are so fast, and Lao Ji just, like, oh, your speed is nothing compared to my speed, and he just punches the living lights out of Kabu. He has shown that he's quite fast. I mean, while the dwarf was moving, he put on his glasses, and then moved on to punch him. So, the dwarf
I don't even think he punched him. I honestly think he just flicked him to the ground.
Something like that.
He made the dwarf's memento go against him.
Momentum, yeah.
Yeah.
Riven, what do you have to say about it?
I don't know. I wasn't really surprised. I loved the glasses. I think the glasses that made me smile. I liked the little gif that was going around with him staring at the dwarf and putting on the glasses and smacking. But I don't know, I wasn't really surprised. It just was an idle pass to me. So I wasn't paying too much attention to that, I guess.
Okay, and that brings us to the next point, that Toy Soldier and Kabu were overwhelmed by Lao Ji's casual attacks, and they were defeated with quite a lot of ease. I mean, I don't know if Toy Soldier is going to get back up and try to fight, but he received quite a punch, and Kabu was knocked out while the other dwarves reacted. So, up until now, we have just seen Toy Soldier, going here and there, owning the fodder. But once he has faced his actual opponent, like a real tough opponent, do you think Toy Soldier has something up his sleeves? Because he says, no, you will, in fact, let us in, when Lao Ji says he won't let the intruders in.
I just think it's another way of saying that he won't give up he won't give up, and he's just gonna beat Lao Ji down until they go all the way up to the palace. Yeah,
So
I think
you think that was a way of wording his determination or something like that?
yeah, I think so. If he does have something up his sleeve, that would be fun. But I honestly think it's just a statement of determination.
Yeah, I also didn't think he had anything up his sleeve. I thought it was more of a, his will. But at the same time, the will to continue on can be more powerful than anything he might have up his sleeve. So.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Cam?
Not really sure. I agree with what everyone else said, sort of.
Okay.
I was a bit lost on this part.
So I guess
You're entitled to disagree.
No, definitely right.
So I guess the general conception of this line from Toy Soldier was to say that he's not going to give up. His will is going to keep going stronger, and you see those shadows below his eyes, like below his hat, covering his eyes. He has those bruises even though he's a toy, and I think we may just see him being kind of like broken or dismantled if he keeps going on against Lao Ji. Do you think that's possible, that this would be like a place where he's unable to move anymore?
His final stand, maybe.
Yeah, it sort of seems that way. I don't know.
I don't know. Can this lift lead up to the same place where Frankie's at? Or is that not possible?
No, this is going to the entrance of the palace.
Okay, this is going directly to the palace. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of a different scenario, but that's not possible anymore, so.
Oh, if he ended up in front of Frankie, all beaten up and broken, Frankie would just go roar.
Frankie would go ape shit on Lao Ji.
Yeah.
Yeah, knock him a power. Shout out to Fairy Tale.
Okay, and now, moving on to the last and final key point. The palace invasion party confronts an extremely large Pika. All of a sudden, Luffy and Zoro were startled by this gigantic form of Pika. He just appears out of the wall and he's just there. What were your reactions when you saw Pika just, make his way out of the wall like a zombie coming out of a grave or something like that?
Happiness.
Yeah, I was surprised. I honestly did not see it coming.
I was highly amused, as I am with any giant shark, apparently, that comes out.
Exactly. Just complete amusement and cackling.
Yes. There was a bit of cackling in there. Not as much as when Big Mom Ship appeared. That was probably the highlight of cackling.
Yeah.
For this arc. I think that was they all looked at me very strangely at work in the hallway when I was reading that.
And Viola was actually terrified of Pika. She mentioned earlier that to reach Doflamingo, if Pika appears, then Pika will be the greatest obstacle between them and Doflamingo. So Viola was quite terrified. Like, she was like, oh shit, Pika, damn it. Why do you think she says that he will be the greatest obstacle? Like, is it due to his devil fruit, or is he just that strong enough, or is Viola unaware of Luffy and Zoro's true extent of power?
I think it's a combination of all three.
Yeah, I think the latter especially. She's probably underestimating who Luffy. He just took out Jinjao pretty comfortably, I'd say. I don't know, but Pika would be on Diamante that level, and you'd think Luffy would take him out pretty well, so. But it's not going to be Luffy fighting Pika, most likely it would be Zoro.
It would be Zoro, yeah. And
so
I do think there is some aspect to Pika's devil fruit that makes him more of an adversity than the other executives. In this case.
Yeah,
So.
Pika may just, I'm all for Zoro fighting Pika as well, because Zoro needs to, he's going to get to the strength where I guess he can cut sea stone, or first it will be diamond, I guess. That'll be at Wano Kuni, and he always goes step by step. We saw him cut steel back at Arabasta, and he's just been getting stronger ever since. So maybe he's going to get one step closer to cutting diamond due to Pika here. Maybe Pika, along with his devil fruit and armaments haki, is like really, really hard to cut, something like that.
Yeah, he would have like just massive destructive force, and he's just so huge that like that's probably why if he gets in the way of you, you're probably gonna have a hard time just simply getting past him quickly. Like he's not someone you can defeat quickly, and just his sheer destructive force from being that huge could like possibly like even hamper your escape routes or like trying to bypass him, like because he's just got so much like width of the battlefield on you. He's a giant piece of rock so far, so.
And we don't know what else he's capable of. He could just like stand there as a, what's the chess piece called? It only knows to go straight in any direction. A rock, yeah.
Castle rock. Yeah.
And if you guys noticed, Pika's current form, it engulfs the wall and even everything on it, including things like the candles. The candles don't fall off or disappear or stuff like that. It's like Pika is an extension of the wall, and the wall is still intact.
Yeah, that's why I was mentioning the merge thing before. People were saying that because if you were a zone or a Logia, you'd just turn into a huge version of yourself, like a smooth version, I guess is a good way to put it. And the Logia would be the same thing, but this is like, you've got candles stuck to you, mate. What are you doing? So it's like, it could be, I think it might actually be some sort of Paramecia, but it's a very unique one, and he is massive. I don't know. I don't think it's a Logia.
No, I mean, the whole golem theory is the fact that golems come out of inanimate material. So so it could just be that he became inanimate material and merged into the wall and then became animate again by himself and then came out. So I know it's very flimsy, but yeah, I like the golem theory.
Yeah.
So
I like that one too. That's my favorite, especially considering I really want to see more ancient or mythical zones. Like, I'm really hoping that this is, just so we can have another one, because just a teaser at what things there could be. But
what if
what that his face though? I mean, he would have to have some form of I mean, if it was just a fruit, wouldn't you think that it would be his normal face?
what do you mean?
I mean, in front of his face, you have that, cross thing.
well,
Yeah, that's
Drake
his normal
keeps on what
face.
he's got when he turns into a dinosaur.
It's just,
Yeah.
but
And
I don't know, the cross is weird.
the cross is always his in his regular outfit.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me think he's a Zoan, actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
His weird nose is just, I don't know.
It's not his nose actually, that's like hidden below. He always wears this kind of helmet that has this cross, if you have noticed before. He always, and in the close-up of his eyes, you can see that he still has that helmet shape on. So I'm kind of speculating, I'm mixing up Recoil's idea and Takt's idea of Recoil says he can merge into a substance and Takt says he's a golem. What if he's a golem that can merge into any substance and
Yeah, I mean,
if he's
like I said, the golem mythology, the whole point of it is the fact that you make the golem out of clay or rock, something that's inanimate material. And so I was trying to fit that into how he can do this with the wall. So if you can fit that in, then we're pretty much solid for the golem theory, honestly.
like if there's a huge steel wall, he can just use that steel wall and turn into a steel golem. And if there's an ice wall, he can turn into an ice golem, something like that.
Who knows?
It's interesting to think that, but then you've got to imagine that if by chance there's like a sea stone wall, that would be completely overpowered. Like, there's just so many possibilities that might be too strong.
Yeah.
Something like that.
A sea stone wall, wow.
Yeah. Just like merging into a bit of it and like becoming like a new Zephyr or something where I don't know. That's just, I don't know, it's a really interesting, I don't know, like, Diamante is like just a flood of fruit. And at this stage, Treble is theory to be like a Logia or some sort of things like a snail, just something liquid or oozy or sticky. And then you've just got this massive, just destructive golem that could be a mythical zone. It's like, I just like this one. I like him the best so far just because of this theory.
Yeah,
So
actually, Then if you think about his three officers, Doflamingo's three officers, one Logia, one Paramecia, and one Zoan. It's a nice little collection he's got there. And if you include Virgo in all this, he's the Haki. So you've got Logia, Paramecia, Zoan, and Haki.
Can we take this as a foreshadowing of the eventual Admiral powers? Because we all expect the Admirals as well.
Yeah. I don't like parallels, so that would be alright for me, but could be too convenient. But yeah, if Pika is in fact a zone, then I'm pretty sold on Treble being a Logia. I was thinking he might be a zone, but I think one of them is a Logia, perhaps.
Treble is predicted to be like, even Takt came up with this, and I've read a couple of others as well. They predict him to be the Cement Nomi. Because
it looked like that in the anime, actually.
And he was sticking up
it looked like a snail in the anime. Like he was fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, and he was vertically, just on a vertical angle. He was just, like standing on it. Like it was just normal, ground. So even Luffy can't do that without like punching a hole and holding something.
I also think the fact that Pika has actually said no words at all in the story might lead into like some sort of reasoning behind his fruit, or like I don't know the word, like not mythology or lore, but like just the golem concept or anything of the sort might lead into him not actually speaking. Like it could be a tell that he is some sort, because he has not said a single word. He's just looked strong, and everyone else has spoken. So that's just, I don't know, that's bugging me a little bit. I think that him not speaking might lead into that.
I like that idea. I like the idea that he won't speak because he's a golem man. That might actually be possible. Just briefly, there's actually another part of the golem theory that I don't know how it fits here, and that's the charms that are placed in a golem's mouth to make them animate. And those same charms can also be manipulated to, they can be sort of like commands. So I don't know how that can fit into this.
It'd be kind of interesting if he, pissed Doflamingo off one day, and so there's a charm to stop him from talking. That was the entire reason why he doesn't say anything.
Okay, so we have come to the conclusion of the key points, and I think we discussed this quite extensively, and I think we gave our listeners quite a lot of points to ponder about as well, especially with the fact that Pika, and what can we expect from Pika. And now we'll move on to the free talk segment. To kick off the free talk segment, we will be discussing about something which we all want to see, we all want to know, and some are getting so impatient that they may just start camping outside Oda's house with big signs and, a full-scale protest demanding to be shown something about Sanji. What's going on with the Sunny Go crew as of now? What's going on with the whole Big Mom situation? We can predict so many things, so I'll let you guys speak first. What do you think about it, Takt?
The Big Mom situation, I honestly don't know what to think about it. It can go many ways. I mean, for all we know, Sanji might actually be captured at this point. His counterattack, his counterattack might not have worked. I don't know. Honestly. My mind just keeps going back to that. The fact that he might actually be captured at this point. And his capture would lead into the next arc where they have to go and get him back. So
sort of Sanji rescue arc like how we had for Robin.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe? I mean, I don't see that happening with Sanji though. I do see, there's a lot of speculation about Jinbei. He left Fishman Island. He's roaming the waters. He was going to meet Big Mom. What if he shows up all of a sudden in this whole...
Oh man, that would be epic if Jinbei showed up.
Yeah, that's one of...
That'd be awesome.
No, one of my favorite attacks ever in One Piece was when he grabbed the water and threw it. I forgot the name of the attack.
Using his Pondai.
Using his Pondai.
Pondai.
It is Ryuzen.
That actually sounds, yeah, Ryuzen is right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ryuzen is right. Whatever that attack is, my god, if he uses that against Big Mom, I'm gonna lose my shit in that chapter. Because that is one of my favorite attacks in One Piece ever.
Can Jinbei be
Yeah,
powerful?
that's credit to Sammy, no, not me.
Yeah, Sammy is in, guys, for everyone listening, Sammy is in this call, but he's not speaking. We have made him a mute listener. Okay, anyways, moving on to the topic at hand. What if Jinbei appears, and do you actually think he can do anything to the Big Mom ships just be due to the size of that massive ship? Like, will his attack even work on the ship?
He's just gonna distract them. I mean, if a giant wave is coming towards you, no matter how big your ship is, you're gonna be affected in some way. You're gonna be distracted at least. So.
You know, at the same time, it would be hilarious to see another, classic One Piece scene where you have, everybody in, like, Big Mom's jail, the brig down there, and they're sitting there in chains going, yo, what's up? So, shall we break out now? Alright, let's go.
Yeah, that would be fun too.
Okay, so Riven wants them to be captured, and then Jinbei comes in like the hero to save them all. And
Be the hero. I mean, Jinbei would be their
Honestly, I still prefer the idea of Jinbei just throwing a huge wave on Big Mom's ship and then all the Straw Hats escape. Oh my god, I want that to happen so badly.
If there's any better place for him to show up, it would be like right now in this situation as well. But
yeah.
To be fair, I don't think, I'm more interested to see what Sanji himself actually did to attack. Like, they had some distance between the ships, and like, he can skywalk, but I've always just hoped that he had some sort of Rankaku type technique, and if they showed something like that he was using to fire out the ship with, that was what I was interested in at first, but because we never see it, I sort of forgot. We never see the Sanji crew. But I think Jinbei does have the highest chance of showing up if anyone's going to save him. Not like the Kid Alliance or anything, but
yeah, in
it
the
just
ocean,
works out too well.
In the ocean, Jinbei is going to show up. Like, maybe once they reach, what was the island they were going for again?
Zo.
Yeah. When they reach Zo, maybe the Kid Alliance shows up or something. But in the ocean, the person to help them the most would be Jinbei. And Cam brought up a good point. I also want to see, personally, Sanji do something because, everybody's underestimating Sanji because he got a fracture by Virgo. He lost to Doflamingo, and I mean, people are blaming him and saying he's weak, and there's even some people saying Sanji is going to eat the Mera Mera no Mi because he realizes he's weak and not strong enough. I'm like, okay, what reasoning is that? What reasoning is
way.
That's bonkers.
That will just reset the process and make him start again anyway, but he's already pretty much exactly Zoro's level, so people underestimate him too much. It's a bit sad.
People are underestimating him a lot. And I want to
honestly, I didn't put too much stock in the Doflamingo fight, or whatever you want to call that little thingy that they had together. Scuffle, yeah. I wouldn't too much. I don't put too much stock in that, to be honest.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Sanji is their best swimmer too, and he's saved all of the fruit users many a time because they've been stuck underwater for any reason. Him losing that ability would be a giant blow to their fighting abilities and survivability.
And he's quite fast inside the water as well. In the water, I mean, we saw that when they were going against the Kraken. And I think what's Sanji's attack called? The Spectre, the one where he uses range to attack. Okay, Spectre. Oh, I don't
know if it's that long range though. Like it's ranged, but it's not like. I'm just thinking the distance between the two ships is pretty significant. Like, it'd be the same distance that a standard Rankaku by CP9 would sort of reach. That's why I was hoping that maybe some newcomer Kempo technique resembles that. But I was hoping when he said he'd fire on the ship, he'd actually fire some sort of kick-based, like, wave or whatever you want to call it. At least try to before getting hit on and then saved by Jinbei.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Hell
Memories.
But
Sam just brought up the health memories.
yeah, and you're right. I don't think Sanji can even like skywalk all the way up to the point where he can reach the top of Big Mom's ship, like at a placed fire right on board.
What? I'm pretty sure he can.
No,
Of course
the size
you can.
difference. The size difference. I mean,
What size
that would-
difference? You're walking in the sky and you continue walking in the
Yeah,
sky.
exactly.
sure, he'll be going up, but then he'll be quite away from the sunny, and I think that's the last thing he wants is to be too far
That's
from
true.
the sunny.
Strategically, it's not a good thing to do.
Like if he goes up there and some of Big
Well,
Mom's
then
commander
go-
just jumps on the ship, and that's
I
gone
mean,
case.
for all you know, the commanders might just continue staring at him. What? He's walking on the sky? What is he doing?
I mean, he can use one of their sails to bounce back. I mean, it's not like that he doesn't have options for returning to the sunny.
He
Yeah,
can,
that's
but
true.
it's not going to be instantaneous. Like, whom do we have on the ship now? It's going to be, it's just Nami, Brook, Momo. I think that's the others, right? Caesar, yeah.
Between Nami and Brook, I think they have a good combination of defense until Sanji gets back.
No, but
I-
against a
Are
commander
you
of a
serious?
Yonko, they would lose immediately. I don't think.
I'm not saying
They would lose in 2
I'm thinking
seconds.
against the crew. You know, pushing
Or
away
if,
balls and, you know,
yeah, I can agree.
Nami's
Like, if,
probably going to find some sort of a route that takes their
Um,
ship, you know, somewhere, like she did it,
if Tamako and Peacom's are the two strongest there, I can sort of believe what Riven's saying. Like, if they're tied up with Sanji, Brook and Nami could handle any other people below them. But other than that, if there's anyone stronger, then...
No, I'm not saying that she's going to handle a Yonko. I think that
No, I mean...
the little peasants that they'll probably send over first.
Yeah, that's
you know.
what I mean.
She'll have Brooke dispatch all of the you know, peons, and then she'll find a way to guide the Sunny somewhere that the big ship can't go.
In fact,
I can see Nami guiding the ship away while Sanji gets off to do whatever he needs to do to the Big Mom ship to stall it. I can see that.
maybe, like, I think I also am underestimating Nami at this point, because, like, she's the navigator and she's the sea expert, and they are on the sea, after all, so maybe she's going to use her navigation skills to keep the ship safe in some way, while Sanji is just in the air dealing with, you know, whoever.
Yeah, why not? She did it in the NS Lobby arc, so... Yeah.
She is the number one, like, photo killer with AoE for now. She's really good at that, so she has her uses, but...
Yeah.
But if all goes south and Big Mom actually is on the ship, because we do predict her to be on the ship, there was no Tenzin Mushi involved last time we saw. How are things going to turn out? I'm sure she's not going to just appear in front. She'll be the last person to come out, you know. It'll first be the fodder, and then it'll be the people who are on the level of Pecombs and Tamago, and then it'll be her commanders, and she'll be the last one, but she's still there on the ship. What if her Conqueror's Haki is just enough to knock out Sanji or something?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we're speculating that she's got King's Haki now. Are we? Seriously?
It can be possible. She is, after all, a young
I mean, like,
I
strong
know,
enough
but
to
still.
knock out Sanji. I mean, Rayleigh couldn't knock out Usopp, so it's like, I don't know how hard out he was going, but
Yeah,
Rayleigh
I mean,
could knock out Usopp for 4 time skip.
the thing with Rayleigh is that he might not have tried back
Yeah.
then.
At the same time, they're also always around Luffy, and so they're kind of used to that sort of presence.
Oh, right, okay.
Rayleigh could target his Conqueror's Haki, though, Cam.
Yeah.
He didn't really hit it on Luffy and the others. He just...
Yeah, that's true. I just remember the part where he said that you guys must be strong to take that to Law's crew. Maybe it was just them, because they're not technically good guys at the time, but... Sorry.
Maybe he didn't... Apart from Luffy and crew, he just unleashed Haki on everyone. But I think also he has the color of observation, so he could have just used that to sense that these guys weren't just normal. They were above normal. So I think a Yonko level Haki could pretty much... I mean, if Whitebeard was in his prime and he used Haki in Marineford, I think all the Marine fodder would have been like bam, 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 and the only ones standing would be maybe Vice Admirals and Admirals and the Shichibukai.
Yeah.
I seriously hope we do see Sanji and the rest. I mean, it's high time. How many chapters has it been? Almost 4 or 5 that we haven't seen them. That's like
5, yeah.
With the break, it's almost 2 months that we haven't seen Sanji. And people are getting impatient. They are actually really looking forward to Sanji showing us what's happening on that side. And you never know if like Beckham's and Tomago would just jump right on Sunny and decide that they are going to retrieve Caesar. Do you think Sanji is going to unchain Caesar's handcuffs and let him fight for his safety? Now that Caesar doesn't want to actually, escape them, since he knows that that's his best bets to stay safe and away from Big Mom. Like, we saw Law unchain Caesar, though he had his heart. That's a different issue. But here, if Sanji decides, okay, Caesar, fight along with us, because he's strong, okay? He has this 300 million bounty for a reason, and he's a Loggia and stuff. He can be an asset in the fight to get to safety.
Yeah. He can use Gastanet, and that would be a great distraction, I think. Gasteel or Gastanet, whichever one.
Gastanet, yeah. The explosion, like, with the clap of the thing. I don't know, I think if he does get unchained, he's for sure probably going to get caught. I don't know, by Big Mom. I just have a feeling of that.
Because I think
I had a feeling for...
Sorry.
Can what?
If Sanji does unchain Caesar, he can also later make sure that Caesar is captured back for themselves. But yeah, this could just happen that Caesar could just end up with Big Mom again.
I don't know. I figured that, like, after 2 chapters where they didn't show it, this is just going to be like they're going to show what happened at the end, like where everyone is, like if they got away there at Zoe, or if they got captured there on the ship, or like we won't see the middle of the battle at all, and that's what the disappointment. We might see flashbacks for it, but
or maybe,
I think at this stage it might happen. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying maybe they'll find out about what's going on with Sanji once they get to Doflamingo and his Den and Mushi rings, and it's Sanji. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be epic. That would be really cool.
Beautiful.
Oh, Doflamingo gets another heart attack knowing that Big Mom is roaming around and Dressrosa sees.
And trying to get Caesar.
Yeah.
He's going to get a shock.
Holy shit.
Oh, then he might just dispatch Baby 5 and Gladius to go retrieve Caesar.
From Big Mom. He's going to dispatch Baby 5 and Gladius.
Not from Big Mom.
He's not going to go against Big Mom. If he's not going to go against Kaido, he's not going to go against Big
Mom. They don't have to fight them, they can just go and pick up Caesar and run for it, I guess.
Yeah, he'll be like, the Straw Hats are distracted, just go and get Caesar back, that's it.
May have to dispatch Special Ops Pika, though. I don't know how that's Special Ops, by the way, that's just pointing that one.
Okay, so, to wrap this up, final thoughts about what's going to happen with Sanji and the whole situation with Big Mom, starting with you, Recoil. Your final thoughts?
He's going to get owned, Junbei will come in, and then he'll eat the Mera no Mi. 100%.
Jinbei will eat the Mera no Mi.
Now that would be stupid. Honestly, I reckon Jinbei will most likely make an appearance, and Sanji may use a ranged attack of some sort or other. I hope he did. So that's my main things there. And also, if Caesar gets unchained, he's going to get taken by Big Mom, so he's just going to be like passed around more than chlamydia. So that's about it. Okay.
And Riven, what's your final thoughts on this discussion?
I don't know. I really would love to see see what they're doing right now, and see who's helping them, who's not helping them, and all that. But, I don't think we're going to see that for another chapter or 2. Honestly. I think it'll be a little bit later, and I think it'll be at a really nice point in the story that actually has to do with what's going on over there, as opposed to just, here, let me check in real quick and see what they're doing.
I do predict, though, that Oda will tease us quite a bit. They showed a couple of panels, maybe with Sanji bleeding in one panel, and then the next panel with Nami trying to fight or something, and then he goes back to the others and then comes back after 5-6 weeks more. You never know what Oda is planning.
Oh my god.
That's rude.
I think for Oda, it would be the very last panel of a chapter would be a, random flash to Sanji contacting them, a reveal as seeing something from them. And then we'll have the next chapter would be a flashback as to what happened to them, is what I would predict Oda would do. And tease us
I agree with that.
for an entire week.
Takt, what's your opinion to wrap it all
Jinbei,
off?
man. Jinbei throwing a giant wave at the Big Mom shit. Oh my god. I want that to happen so badly. Damn it. Yeah, I just want Jinbei, man. I want Jinbei to get there and do what he does best, which is throw water around and make it look epic as shit. That's what I want.
Okay, wait. We are all going to, hope that Jinbei shows up, and right here, I'll add in the soundtrack of him doing that attack, whatever that is.
Yeah, please, just find that attack and do it, because that's what the hell, man. After Ursa's shock, that is my favorite attack in all of One Piece. And, yeah, that would be so sweet if that happened. I see some situation like, Sanji will try to, counterattack, and, to a certain extent the counterattack will work, they will start escaping, but then the Big Mom ship will catch up to them, and that's when Jinbei will show up with this gigantic tsunami. And, that'll be an epic double spread, and that will end the chapter and kill a lot of people.
Sammy just wants us to tell everyone that he just rewatched that scene 6 times in a row just now.
Wait, Tak, what did you just say? What did you just say, like, the last 10 seconds? I missed it.
I said that I see the Straw Hats escaping initially, and then, as they escape, Big Mom's ship will catch up, and that's when Jinbei will show up with throwing this giant tsunami at the Big Mom ship, and that'll be a double spread page. It will finish the chapter off and kill a lot of people.
Just imagine next week, the combo attack, when the ship's all warded up, and you got Nami unleashing her lightning on the ship.
Oh, yes.
That'd be good.
That would be amazing.
The Nami Jinbei classic combo, I like to call it.
That would be interesting right there. I think their little specialties would be pretty friggin' fantastically perfect together.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's a wrap to the free talk segment, and I hope our listeners enjoyed us rambling about our fantasies with Sanji and Big Mom. Not to take it the wrong way, okay? And I know you all listeners are going to just go. I know Sammy is the first one who's going to go and think wrong stuff, and yeah, just to clear that out.
Thinking wrong stuff.
Yeah. We're all fantasizing about Sanji and Big Mom. Yeah, I don't think Sanji would even want to touch
Don't say it again, man.
Big Mom with a yardstick. He's going to faint when he sees Big Mom. I mean, he has this total different image of Big Mom.
He's going to flash back to hell, is what I think.
Oh my god.
all of what Chopper, attempted to fix in him.
Big Mom is
come right back. He's like, no.
Alright, now, I thought that was going to be a joke, but this is going to stick with me forever, isn't it? Just like the koala thing. Okay, anyways,
What? Koala thing? You have a koala thing, dude? We should discuss that. I think that might be important right now.
No. Let it die down. Let it die down. Anyways, alright, so we are done with the free talk / discussion segment. I may have already said this, but a lot of behind the scenes went on, and I blame Sammy. He's trying to sabotage my hosting spirit. He's trying to make sure that I never want to host ever again. And he's just being an ass as he is. And we'll move on to our final thoughts of the chapter, including individual ratings. And the first one is Recoilation, the James Cameron from Down Under. Go ahead.
Thank you, my friend Divvens. Alright. Well, I start off my final thoughts of the chapter. I go to part 1, which was the final battle at the Coliseum commences. And we saw, Diamante's Devil Fruit be revealed and all the hype around that, where he took out all of the Samuels that ran into the arena, angry that my mate Rebecca won. So it was a nice introduction to the fruit. We've discussed a lot about it, and hopefully not everything can be turned into a floating piece of weird cloth, so it's not overpowered, but I actually like that fruit more than I thought I would from the spoilers. We also saw more of Sabo's face, but Oda is still being a massive cock tease, and it's just like, he's got the biggest shades I've ever seen on. The shades that Luffy, I think, actually had on at the start of the arc. But, we see a scar, and that's good. Just so we all expected a scar, but confirmation is a different thing. It's the same as we all expected Sabo, but confirmation's a different thing. So, that was nice. I really like that. And, the face reveal, just little by little we're seeing it. Then we'll see the eyes. Actually, that's about it. Nice. Alright. And then the other part of that, chapter was, that part was the Mera no Mi and being attached to the fish. That was cool. I like it. I don't know if I got a bit confused though, because it was said to be last man standing, yet the fruit's attached to a fish, so I don't know if you could just take it from the fish and just run away, but, that remains to be seen. It's a really interesting concept, and I like that part. Overall, I'd probably give that part I'd give it a great, just because I liked Diamante in that panel where he looked a lot like Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler is a pretty known person from is it Aerosmith? I don't care anymore. Alright, so he resembles Steven Tyler, and I really like Steven Tyler, at least the look for Diamante, so that's probably gives it a great for me, just that panel and his personality. Part 2, the Luffy, Zoro, Viola, and Kinemon are furthering their advance on the Don Quixote Palace. I like this part. I'll give it just, good. I mean, it's got the standard, humor. It's got the standard humor that we would know and love about Luffy with the just not doing what everyone else wants to do, not going by the book, just going in and punching out all these fodder and saying, hey look, there's an opening here. And I really liked Zoro's response in his suit. I loved his eyes popping out of the suit, even though obviously that doesn't make sense, but, that was really cool. And we also found out Kinemon's missing, and that's another interesting thing that we can rest on to hope for we see next chapter and all that. Like, where did he go? Is he going straight to, like, look for Kanjuro? Has he discussed a plan to break off? You never know if he's just doing it of his own will for now, but he's pretty loyal, so. And the last point of that part is the anger of Big Dofla. Now, I've said it before, I love panels where he's showing emotion, and I'm wondering if his mental state is actually going to be affected and when he fights Luffy. Like, we all know he's a cool, calculating man, and he fought Law with just, like, a smile on his face, talking to his subordinate. But now with Luffy, he may just up his game and try and go a bit more hard out, and that'd probably suit Luffy. A strategical fight would be disadvantageous for Luffy. Like, we even saw him get technically defeated by Caesar just because of strategy and not thinking out the situation, so it may suit Luffy if Doflamingo is enraged rather than calm and collected. So I'll give that good. Lao G versus the Toy Soldier and Kabu. Lao G, he's a good man. He's a great man. I like his quirks. I like his martial arts. I like how he has no eyes. He has just the void. His eyes are the void. They're just black. I don't know, they're like squares. They're actually weird shape. And I really like the glasses part where he puts it on and just like swats him with like a lot of power behind it. And just destroys Kabu, who is meant to be quite strong, so. I really like that, I love all the subordinates of Doflamingo and his executives. They're all funny as hell in some way, mostly. And especially this group. Lao G and Senor Pink are just the best things I've ever seen, so. I'm happy with that. As well as that, we get to see soon if Toy Soldier can make his counterattack. A lot of us are fearing that this may be a last stand of sorts, but you never know what he's actually capable of. So, I'll give that part a great. I like that part. And for the final part, the Palace Invasion Party from before, minus Kinemon, runs into Pika, who is a giant fuck-off golem. Now, the fun part of this is that he could be all three of the Devil Fruit types, Zone, Paramecia, or Logia. And that is what makes it really fun and really unique. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is, because I really like Pika. And I really want to see, like, what he's capable of. If he can actually speak English, like, he could just speak Spanish or some shit, because he hasn't said anything yet. But hopefully it is something to do with a golem concept, not just like rock or stone or merging, because I like golems, and we haven't seen a golem concept in One Piece yet, I believe. So I don't know, it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to Zoro fighting him, hopefully in the near future. So I'm going to give that a grade, and overall, that would be a biased great. It was a good, I don't find many chapters below good, but that was just a great chapter, like, just a lot of good parts about it. There wasn't any epic Fujitora, I'm going to destroy all of the Shichibukai, moments, but it was still a solid, it was really consistent, so I like this chapter a lot. And next with his thoughts are Divvens.
Thank you, Recoil. Riven is playing around a lot with our names on the spreadsheet which we have. I'll maybe put a screenshot on the topic when we make it, and you can see the pet names that Riven has for all of us. It's not a lie. I got a screenshot as well.
I only changed 2 names. 2.
Okay, so moving on to my final thoughts and ratings for the chapter. On the first key point, the final battle at the Colosseum, which begins, we see Diamante's Devil Fruit, which I already spoke about in detail previously. We see the new class of boss level fighting fish, and of course, one of the fishes have the Mera Mera no Mi, which is quite a good twist, because as many were worried that, we have Sabo, we have Diamante, we have Burgess, and we have Bartolomeo. So those 4 are like on par. I mean, out of those 4, even Bartolomeo is kind of the black sheep. He's the weaker one, but at least he can stand his ground and not need protecting, unlike Rebecca would. So with the dynamics changed now, and with one of the fighting fishes also, practically I would consider it the fighting fish also as a contestant now, because the gladiators have to steal the Mera Mera no Mi from the fish. So I think Rebecca is going to concentrate a lot on the fish while the others fight it out. And I think Sabo may just prefer to keep Burgess busy, because we did see him mention that, oh, this is Burgess of the Blackbeard Pirates. So he does have something up his sleeve for Burgess. He knows that that's Burgess, and I'm sure that just like Luffy, Sabo also holds a grudge against the Blackbeard Pirates in some way for Ace. So this part gets an amazing from me, because come on, Diamante's fruit was revealed, and it's the final gong, and it was like fading away to another scene, and the next time we see the Colosseum, it's going to be battle time. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens, and if it eventually ends up with Burgess actually lifting the whole Colosseum and throwing it at someone, I'd be laughing my guts out, because Sammy already predicted that. And moving on to the second point, Luffy breaking into the palace and just waging a war against Don Quixote family. This part gets a grade from me, because we see our Luffy back. He's no more wanting to be under a disguise. He no longer wants to be silent. He no longer wants to take the secret routes. He just wants to go in and go straight in. And I'm not sure if Luffy is underestimating Doflamingo, or he's just confident that he can fight it off against Toffee. I mean, he has never been the one to be scared, but even against Lucci, he had plans. He knew that if he would let Lucci away from his side, that Lucci would go and kill all of his crewmates. So he does have some sort of back plan of when he faces against Doflamingo, but as far as we see, nothing is going as how Doflamingo wants. So maybe that's one good thing for Luffy, is that Doflamingo isn't in his right senses. He is confused, he's angered, he's furious. Maybe his haki will be affected by these emotions. We saw Enel's haki get affected by his emotions when he was facing off against Luffy. So what's to say that Doflamingo doesn't lose the control over his Conqueror's haki, his observation haki, and he just fails to kind of be at his top. That would also make a good plot progress for Luffy to, at least at the beginning, go on equal terms with Doflamingo in a fight case. And in this situation as well, we have a twist that Kinemon has disappeared from the group, so we're going to see another split party, and I wonder when we'll be seeing him next. So this part gets a grade from me. Lao Ji versus the Toy Soldier and Dwarf Executive Kabu. This outright gets an amazing for Lao Ji and his character quirk. It's just like last week we saw Senior Pink, or last week we just saw Senior Pink unleash his hard-boiled self, and now we see Lao Ji be the badass he is. I mean, Doflamingo's crew is turning out to be just one surprise after another, and all of them are just making fans go wow wow. First it was Senior Pink, and now this week it was Diamante, and then Lao Ji. I mean, if Oda has planned Doflamingo's crew out so well, I can't wait to see what he has planned out for Yonko's crew. What kind of devil fruits, what kind of powers, what kind of quirks, this is all just a foreshadowing of the epicness that we can expect in the future. So this gets an amazing from me, and the palace invasion party confronting an extremely large Pika. We knew Pika was going to be strong, okay? He is an executive officer. There are only 4 of them in the Doflamingo family. They are like we can compare them to the admirals of the Marines, not saying in strength wise, but in rank wise in the Doflamingo family. Doflamingo is the leader, and then he has 4 people directly under him, and we knew he was going to be strong, but we didn't know he's going to turn into this giant monster. I'll call him a stone golem, though it's not confirmed that he's a stone golem. We are just specifying him to be a stone golem to make it easier to describe. He could be anything weird. It sparked off a lot of discussion. Is he an ancient Zoan? Is he a mythical Zoan? Is he Paramecia? Is he Logia? There's a lot of discussion going on, and as we know, Oda may reveal next chapter, may reveal next to next, may reveal after 10 chapters what is Pika's power, but we know it's going to whatever it is, it's going to be epic, and it's going to hold back Luffy and Zoro for a bit, because we know Luffy is eventually going to make his way through, and Zoro is going to fight Pika. But it's an interesting turn of event, and the fact that Viola is so terrified, given her power of clairvoyance, I think there's something more to add to Pika, and we may see it in the coming weeks. So overall, due to all the reveals and due to all the information shared this week to us, including the ending, I would rate this chapter as an individual rating. I would rate it amazing. And next up, for his final thoughts and individual rating of the chapter, is Takt.
Thank you, Divvens. My final thoughts on this chapter, well, the final battle at the Colosseum commences. We get a reveal of Diamante's fruit, which I thought was good. I like the little attack that he showed off by converting his sword into a bull. I actually really like that. And I also like the fighting fish. They add a new element to what would ordinarily just be a fist fight between 5 people. Instead, now you've got the fighting fish as well. So I thought that was nice. Overall, I would give that a good, I suppose. Next, you have Luffy breaking into the palace. This is just classic Luffy, honestly. Like, him breaking through the gate, it didn't surprise me. It didn't make me happy or whatever. I just thought it was classic Luffy. Yeah, it didn't do anything for me. And apart from that, in the same bit, you have Doflamingo's anger. Now that was awesome. I love the page where he just loses his shit. So for that alone, I would give this point a grade. For the next bit, you have Lao Ji versus the Toy Soldier. And I like Lao Ji's introduction, except for his suit, which still disturbs me, really. Seriously, Oda, why do you keep doing this? Anyway, so yeah, I like Lao Ji's introduction. So I would give that point a good as well. And next, Pika's introduction, my god, I loved it. I love that page where he comes out of the wall, because I did not see that coming. I don't think I read it in the spoiler as well. So yeah, I didn't see that coming, and it was really good. And seeing him as a rock golem, yeah, I like that. So I would give that an amazing. Overall, the chapter gets I'd say it gets a good, between a great and a good, but okay, I'd say good. Yeah, and that's it for my final thoughts. Next up is Riven.
my final thoughts on the chapter. First one, the final battle at the Colosseum. I have always been a big fan of the Colosseum in general. So that and Diamante's introduction and seeing his fruit, would get a great from me. It wouldn't be more than that, sadly. Second, Luffy breaks into the palace and attacks the Don Quixote family. It is very typical Luffy. I fully agree with Takt on this. I would have honestly preferred to see him stay in the fish suit until he gets in front of Mingo, but that's just kind of how he wanted to do things, and that's how things will eventually go. Kinemon separating from the group, I didn't see it the first time. Now that I have, I'm not really. I just see it. I can't. He's probably gonna go find his friend that was supposed to be held hostage there. Is what my idea of that. But so I would give that entire thing a good. I mean, it wasn't a bad situation. It was just more of a okay. It was all right. So I guess that would actually be an okay. With my frustration at Luffy's just getting rid. At the same time, you have Don Quixote's anger, and that was so fantastic and beautiful. That is freaking amazing. I just loved how he just completely lost himself. So between the okay and the amazing, I guess it would even out to a great point. I mean, it's hard to, have both of those, okay, kind of annoying, really wish this had happened differently, and then right after that, because it didn't happen differently, and because he discarded the suit, it led to a fantastic reaction of, Doflamingo saying all of the dominoes slowly fall around him. So, okay. I'm just gonna give that a great, just because it goes from one extreme to the other, in my opinion. Lao Ji versus the Toy Soldier and Dwarf, Executive Kabu. I enjoyed the little bit of comedy in there, but I wasn't a big fan of him. I am not yet, I guess. He hasn't done too much to make me like him, as opposed to, some people absolutely adore him. I'm not one of those people. So that got an okay for me. Maybe he'll endear himself to me in later chapters. Maybe not. The last one would be the Palace Invasion Party confronting the extremely large Pika. I loved that. I absolutely adored seeing the giant Pika just pop out of the stone. I liked the surprise and the hilarity. It was a great way to end the chapter. It was pretty much classic Oda, and wonderful way to hook you to make sure you're sitting on the edge of your seats wanting the next chapter and making sure that no matter what happens, you're going to at least see what exactly, Pika is and if he actually is a golem or if he has a strange, fruit or what's going on there. So I would give that a great, because it did hook me. I definitely want to see what happens with Pika. So overall, I would give this a good chapter. Between the okays and the amazings and the goods and the great, I think it was just a good chapter. And that would be it from me.
Alright, thank you for your final thoughts and individual rating. Now we will all move on to the overall unbiased rating of the chapter, even though our biased and unbiased are generally the same. So Recoil, what's your unbiased rating of the chapter?
My unbiased rating of the chapter is the same as mine. It's a great, very consistent chapter.
My unbiased rating would also be great, for the same reasons that from the start to the end it had me excited about the chapter, and it didn't lose interest at any point, so it gets a great For me, I would go for an amazing, but Sammy was too anal about being critical last week, so I'm going for a great this week. And Takt, what's your overall unbiased rating of the chapter?
My rating is good. From my first reading of the chapter to my fourth or fifth reading of the chapter, it didn't change. I always thought it was good. That's it.
And Riven, what's your overall unbiased rating of the chapter?
Unbiased? I would probably give it I almost want to say a great, because if you absolutely adore the characters like Lao Ji and all of that fun stuff, it would be a fantastic chapter for you. But I think I'm going to end up with I think it was a good chapter. It was great, some parts, and I didn't think other parts just kind of fell flat, so I'm going to go with a good.
Alright, so there you have it. We have 2 greats and 2 goods. Let us know, listeners, on the topic, how do you rate this chapter? Did you rate it a great or a good? And it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
Yes, the questions and answers.
Yeah, I'm going to. That's going to be the entrance of the Q&A from now on every week.
What, seriously?
Yeah, I think so. That's priceless. That's just priceless. Okay, moving on to the first question from Azriel. He asks, what do you think Doflamingo will do now that he's damn confused in what's happening? Do you think he's going to interfere or stop the fight going on at the Colosseum? I'd let Recoil answer this first.
I don't think he's going to go to the Colosseum. He'll probably stay put, especially if he knows that Luffy's coming to him. I think we mentioned it before that maybe Fujitora was sent to the Colosseum, if anywhere, or he went to the Colosseum on his own will. But he's going to be surprised when he doesn't find Luffy there. But I don't think he's personally going to go over there. He's going to sit in the palace and get owned eventually.
Takt, what do you have to say about it?
I think he'll just dispatch Baby 5 and who's the other person that's there?
Gladius.
Gladius, yeah. I think he'll dispatch those 2 to the Colosseum to see what's going on. Or maybe just one of them, actually. I think Baby 5 will be enough. After all she needs to do is determine who is it that's in the Colosseum and how he got there and what's going on with him. You see, with Luffy, all those questions need to be answered in Doflamingo's perspective. So I think he'll dispatch Baby 5 to get the answers.
So that would lead to a Baby 5 versus Koala, maybe. I don't know. Because Koala is there in the Colosseum.
Why not?
And we can see some Fishman karate action by a human. That would be interesting. What's your take on it, Riven?
My thoughts, I don't think Doflamingo's going to really do anything about the Colosseum.
Nothing? He's not even going to consider finding out who Lucy is, actually? Like, who's filling in for Luffy?
You have that, but at the same time, I think he trusts Diamante to actually win. And so...
No, it's not the thing about winning. I think he needs information.
Well, even so, all he has to do is wait for Diamante to win and then bring the loser back up and he can find out exactly who it is. It's...
Maybe.
Yeah, that's one way to see it.
But do you think in his current state of mind he's just gonna wait?
Well, I think he has other things to worry about. He has the real Luffy coming up to see him. It's not like he can afford to be like, oh, you know what, I don't have enemies coming up to see me right now, but I'm gonna go and see what's going on in the Colosseum. It's just like...
Okay.
I think he's not gonna be the one to do anything about it. He might maybe dispatch someone to see what's going on, but I don't think he's gonna do much other than that. I think he's gonna deal with the other things happening around him first.
I kind of agree with Riven as well, that he will lay low and just worry about Luffy as of now, and he'll let Diamante take care of whatever is happening. Maybe he'll send a Denten Mushi message to the Colosseum to inform Diamante to find out the true identity of Lucy, but apart from that, I don't think he's going to do anything, because in this case where Kinemon is missing, I think that Baby 5 and I was going to say Buffalo, but it's Gladius there as of now. So Baby 5 and Gladius are in the palace, so maybe Kinemon can run into them or someone else while searching for his friend Kanjuro. So I guess they will play a role in the palace. They won't be sent anywhere. I think Diamante is going to be the one to find out and report back to the Flamingo regarding whoever is this Lucy. Because as of now, only in the Colosseum, only Rebecca knows that Lucy is not the Lucy she knew. And Burgess hasn't realized yet. Neither has Diamante. Because Diamante should know that it's going to be Luffy, but he doesn't know yet. So, except Bartolomeo and Sabo, nobody else knows that Lucy is not Luffy. So it's going to be interesting as to how the others find out that it's not Luffy. And I think we can safely move on to the next question, which is by Lady Mary Killigrew, and she asks, why is Sabo wearing large sunglasses? He seems to have acquired a large scar on his face.
Well, those sunglasses were actually Luffy's. He was wearing them, so it does make sense that he has them. It's not like just a complete tease by Oda. So it is a tease that he's actually wearing them in a fight, but the sunglasses aren't out of nowhere. Luffy actually wore them on Dressrosa, so and he has indeed acquired a large scar on his face, and also the scar looks like it tips over above his eye, and I don't know if it maybe there's a tattoo going on there as well. I don't know, but it looks more like a scar, but you never know. Dragon's young apprentice, or what's going on there, so could be some interesting things there.
Pretty much the same. I don't have much to add about this, honestly. I really don't.
I think it's all of us would share the same opinion. Riven, what do you share the same opinion as well?
I thought the scar was drawn on. That's about the only change that I'd have.
Oh, the facial
scar on his face?
Facial scar.
Yeah. I figured he'd take a crayon or something because Luffy has a scar and he tried to imitate it.
The one on the chest is the one on the chest is imitated. I think the one on his eye, Luffy doesn't have a scar on his eye, like a massive one like that. He has like a line.
It's a scar under his sunglasses. It's quite visible. It's like a huge burn mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different from Luffy's scar. It's not drawn on.
I don't know. It looks, I always thought it was either a, really badly drawn scar or it was like a little bandage to keep people from knowing that he wasn't there, that there wasn't a scar there. I'm not really sure.
Oh.
So, to me that was just a, badly crayon drawn scar.
This looks like it looks really thick, so it actually looks a bit really painful. If you think it's badly drawn.
It's like from...
And I think
does make sense.
The shape also doesn't look like he drew it on. So, I think that is his own scar. It's not to imitate Luffy's scar.
I mean, it's pretty nicely timed, his scar being on the same eye, though. Interesting.
Yeah, Luffy stabbed him. But he did get shot from that angle, if you remember. He did get shot from the same, from his left side. And he has the scar on his left side, and Luffy just stabbed himself on the left side. Just,
The sunglasses actually cover Luffy's scar, though, I'm pretty sure.
That's true.
So it's like, why would he even need a fucking drawing, like, a huge, like, artistic...
I don't know. I'd like to see his actual face, with the scar and everything.
Oh, yes.
So, that, to me, it was just like, well, the sunglasses are pretty obvious, but... the large scar, I figured it was...
Oda did give us a hint with the scar on his chest. Like, Luffy's a bad artist. I'm sure maybe Ace was a bad artist as well. And Sabo has been hinted now to be a bad artist. So maybe he's not good enough to create this scar under his sunglasses.
That's a shame.
To be fair, what the hell else could he have done? It's not like he had the resources to, like, he didn't have paper mache or whatever to actually make a bloody thing.
He could have just told Luffy to go ahead and give him one hawk rifle right in the stomach.
Just brings up Becky.
No, it's just, it reminds me of Luffy drawing his Jolly Roger on Laboon and how completely off it was.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of, an attempt to draw a scar that was completely, incorrect.
Exactly. It's like all the three brothers share the same bad artist skills.
Exactly. It would make sense in some ways. In the One Piece way, it would make sense.
Alright, so I think we all answered this question as well. And we'll move on to the next question, which is by Monkey D. Hashashi. I hope I pronounced that fine. He asks, how do you guys think Toy Soldier will overcome Lao Ji, if at all? And Recoil, take it up first.
I don't think he will overcome him. I think we echoed it before that he's probably going to go all out and give his all, but I don't think he can overcome Lao Ji. He might bypass him or something, but I personally don't think he's going to defeat him.
Yeah,
I mean, we discussed this in the key points, right? Like
we did. Yeah, we did. Like
about whether Toy Soldier has something up his sleeve or not.
Yeah, so it can just be like his will to want to defeat Lao Ji, but his body would not allow him to defeat Lao Ji. Like maybe if he was in his non-toy form, he would have a chance, but in his toy form, I think he stands no chance at all.
Yeah, especially considering that Sugar is probably not going to be defeated in any chapter really soon. So it's like, he's probably going to be a toy for this whole Lao Ji fight. But that's just my point.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
You may just end up being totally dismantled or something.
I think he has a vague chance of putting up enough of a fight to get out of there, though. You know, making it up the...
to get out of there without like totally confronting face to face.
Exactly.
Without going head on, yeah.
You know, I think he has enough for that. I think that the end of the fight might be after he's an actual human.
But it's a trip in the lift, though. Do you think the lift would take that long?
I don't think. No, they're not yet inside. Are they already inside the lift?
Yeah, they're inside.
Yeah, they're inside the lift.
Okay, so maybe wherever it opens up, that's where the battle will take a turn. But I don't think, as long as Lao Ji is standing in front of the entrance to the lift, he's not going to allow even one dwarf or toy soldier to escape, because we have seen already that he's fast enough to react to a dwarf, so the speed is going to be no plus point for the dwarfs to escape. And I am sure toy soldier speed is quite negligible for Lao Ji. He can deal with that.
Well, no. Not necessarily, because he was also the person who taught Rebecca how to be fast.
Yeah, but he's currently just in his toy form. He's not faster than the dwarves himself. The dwarves are faster than him, as of now. He's just using those jetpacks on jet boosters on his legs to be that fast as of now. So
it's true.
If Lao Ji can keep up with the speed of the dwarves, he can keep up with the speed of toy soldier easily. So
definitely,
them escaping has to be like something. Oh, maybe the battle between Pika and Luffy and Zoro somehow distracts Lao Ji and they make a run for it, or Kinemon shows up all of a sudden, or
his glasses get broken.
Something.
Honestly, I really did think that. I was imagining a situation where this fight between Lao Ji and the toy soldier would be going on, and the toy soldier would be down, and in the lift, the doors would open, and Lao Ji would be like, "Yeah, you're finished, you're defeated," and suddenly a rocket from Frankie will hit him in the back.
Yeah, but that was if they were entering the entrance of the toy factory. Yeah,
exactly. So that's not happening. Damn it! I would have loved for that to happen, honestly.
But I'd feel bad for Frankie if he would go up against like 3 officers and 1 vice admiral.
Yeah, that's true.
Then we'll move on to the next question, which is by Death72, or as we term him, the Surgeon of Likes, which I think Anthony is contesting for that position, isn't he now? With all the alerts we are receiving. Death asks, what do you think Pika's devil fruit is? And I just want to say that this question was also discussed a lot in the key point and also on other parts of the forums, but I guess talking over it again can give us some more input. But I'll sum up what we have until now. Recoil, what did you say you want his devil fruit to be? You can explain it better than me, the merging thing.
I said it could be any of the three types, which is why it's really interesting to talk about. But I was hoping it would either be related to, or both of these things, a golem and merging with his surroundings, whether those surroundings have to be rocky sort of surroundings, I don't know. But just the golem concept, I want to be included into Pika's design somehow. We haven't seen it yet, and it's really interesting, and we are getting into the thick of things in the new world, I don't think Kaido's army, for example, would have a zone golem. He has more of an animal theme going on. So, and there's so many zone possibilities that I really hope it is a zone. But at the same time, I could see it being a very unique power ratio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Takt also brought up the golem points with his golem theories. What do you have to say about it, Takt, including the fact that he hasn't spoken a word until now, Pika?
When I looked into golems, I'm not sure if they were supposed to be mute as well. Because if they are mute, then that would be pretty awesome. I mean, that would mean that he's a golem and as a side effect, he's actually mute. Because he's a golem human. I would like that. And my preference in terms of Pika's Devil Fruit is that he's a mythical zone, because I love seeing mythical zones. I mean, ever since we saw Marco's Phoenix, I was like, yes, can we have more of these, please? So yeah, I'm wishing it to be a mythical zone. And some parts of the golem myth can be worked into Pika's appearance, definitely. So, I think mythical zone is entirely possible, yeah.
We did see one more mythical zone along with Marco, and that was Sengoku.
Oh yeah,
He was also the human no me model Buddha, and that gets a lot of chance for something like human no me model Golem or something alike.
Definitely.
This, and I want to merge sort of Cam's idea with your idea that because he's a Spec Ops operative, he's the leader of the Spec Ops team. If he was restricted only to stone, I think that would work out in a disadvantage. So I feel like he can blend into any substance, let's say ice, or let's say rock, let's say diamond, whatever substance that it is made up of. If he has enough of the substance, he can turn into a golem of that substance. So like if he has enough source of diamonds, he can turn into a diamond golem. If he has enough source of ice, he can turn into an ice golem, something of that sort. Like currently he's surrounded by the castle walls, the brick stone, so he's a brick golem, but if he's exposed to, I don't know if magma would work, but something, if he's exposed to magma and he turns into a magma golem, that would be quite suiting a Spec Ops operative. Like he can operate in any type of area or any type of environment.
I mean, if you actually stretch the golem mythology a bit, that could work. I mean, because golems are made out of, like I said, they're made out of inanimate material, like clay or rock. So if you stretch it from clay and rock to anything else, the materials you mentioned, like diamond or magma or steel, etc., then it might actually work, yeah. So that would be a combination of the merge theory that Recoil came up with and the mythical zone as well.
And Riven, what do you have to say about this?
I agree. I'd like to see it as its own. I think the Hito no Mi model golem would be a fantastic way to explain, him literally becoming part of the ball. But other than that, or some form of a golem fruit, I can't really see what else his fruit could be. Maybe he has the ability to merge. Maybe it's a merge fruit. And then he can just, become part of inanimate objects. No, I'd rather see his own. So,
The only point I have against my own theory of the merge fruit or Cam's theory is that the size of Pika is really huge. Giant. And it's almost double or triple the size of his original form. And we have seen Sengoku become a giant Buddha. So that was like his giant form of himself, we may be able to connect the dots and say, okay, Pika is also a human no me model golem using some same move as the one we saw with Sengoku, maybe? Or am I being too ambitious here?
No, I agree with that.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the size thing is the main thing that makes me think it's a zone, just because, like, it wouldn't be a logo, like, the only logos we've seen that I believe made you become just a massive version of yourself were Enel and Caesar, and they were, like, really situational and that, but if he's a logo, he just, like, came out, like, massive, and then, like, with Paramecia, it's like, why is he massive? Like, why can't he just be a normal size when he merged with it? That's why I think the size is the main thing, makes him a zone.
And with Caesar, when he grew, he also took in all that Shinokuni to grow more in his form. So if we say that this guy is a Logia, then he has to be only a rock Logia, which would limit him a lot. So I'm also siding for the mythical zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should answer your question. We all are siding towards mythical zone. You heard our opinions. Merge fruit, some kind of golem fruit, human no me model golem. There's a lot of things we can predict, but let's see what Oda comes up with. He may come up with something that we totally don't expect, just like with the whole what's his name, Meat House situation. Meat House. Oh my god, return of the Meat House. Anyways, moving on to Takt's question, and once again, he's the host, but he asked his question before he was supposed to be on the pod, but this time we weren't mean to him and we didn't delete his question. We deleted Riven's question for a change, so Takt asks, Diamante's fruit seems to be very well tailored for use against weapon users like Rebecca or indeed Sabo with his pipe. But how do you think it will fare against people like Burgess, who is a physical combatant, and Bartolomeo? Do you think his touch affects Burger's arms or Barty's barriers?
The Burgers.
Imagine
Burger's arms.
Yeah, him touching his arms and then his arms going all floppy, and he's like, what is this? Is this my arm?
Or maybe he tried to grab a glass of water and the glass just completely turned into a fluttery string and the water just splashed all over him. That would be kind of funny.
But you know what? I think if Diamante could actually turn humans into a fluttering object, it would be very similar to the old grandma, Vice Admiral Tsuru. She had the wash fruit, which she would just
laundry,
touch people and turn them into.
Yeah, maybe that's the fruit that's more suited to people, whereas this is the more like an animate object sort of fruit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know how they'd work it out into wording though, but hopefully it's like that because those fruits are sort of similar, not really, but they are. Same as with Khalifa's plain white bubble one, but they've got differences. So.
But he did say, like Diamante says, I'm a flag man. Wait, the Hira no me. Anything I touch becomes floppy and fluttery. He doesn't just say like things I touch. Anything catches me.
Anything he touches becomes fluttery.
Yeah, so
he's gonna have some trouble.
That would be interesting because then.
That'd suck.
Does that anything include humans or is it only objects? That's I don't know. Maybe we'll get an answer for that, but wouldn't it
probably
be
turn weak humans for sure?
Wouldn't it be
like fodder?
Too overpowered though? Like the Doflamingo has everyone in his crew that involves with touching and powers. I mean, Sugar and Jola had hacks powers that just with a touch they could turn people to art and toys. Was there anybody else in his crew that has touch and power?
I mean, come to think of it, if he could turn humans or basically living things into fluttery beings or whatever, wouldn't that be a bit too similar to Jola? Because Jola sort of makes people wavy as well.
Yeah, with
she makes people her design though, like she has to come up with like an arty design. Like it's very different,
true.
but it's also similar in how it operates.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
But
maybe he touches Burgess and turns him into a cube of some sort, just throws him up. Something. It'll be fun to see a cubed version of Burgess.
Oh, that would be epic if he turned Burgess into a football and then
He should be stronger than Doflamingo with his power. It just sounds like on paper. Jesus.
Maybe.
Doflamingo, he just comes behind him and turns him into like a fluttering piece of flamingo and then just throws him to a wall. And then you've got the new leader of the family.
yeah, then Doflamingo can use Parasite on himself, connect himself with the strings and
And we spoke about
Becomes
this
a kite.
as
then becomes a kite.
we spoke about it in a jovial manner, but now don't you think it is very possible that Diamante turns the whole Colosseum into his cape and wears it? It's like,
Wow.
That would be one epic cape.
I like that combo idea though, where Doflamingo's strings are attached to Diamante after it's been turned into like a flag, and he's just like whacking him around like a kite.
Yeah.
so, do you guys think that maybe Diamante plays a role in the ring's solid form? Maybe he turns the ring into something for his own advantage. I am sure he can.
If he touches the ring and makes things interesting by, making part of the ring flutter and make another part of the ring join together and
Riven mentioned a bouncy castle with that sort of
exactly.
It's true.
Oh, that brings the point that Takt said, that he controls the arena in some way, like he connects such parts and disconnects such parts. That could change the dynamics, like on the go. He sees like Sabo trying to land somewhere and he just disconnects that part, and then Sabo has to change his fall location and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is he allowed? Is he allowed to do that though? Wouldn't that be like tampering with the ring and be against the rules or somehow something?
What rules are there, by the way? There are no rules.
The rules.
There are no rules anyway, so.
Can they tamper with the?
Well, that's probably why he's the hero, because he does tamper with it. Like, I don't know. He's probably not been close to losing because he does sneaky things like that. But he hasn't versed people like Burgess yet. That's why it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he hasn't versed people like Burgess in the Coliseum.
So like if Fujitora was in the Colosseum, he could tamper with the ring by just making it float in the air or something like that. Would that be allowed? And he would be disqualified.
Fujitora would just the Colosseum wouldn't be there if Fujitora wanted to tamper with it.
He sends it into the sky and it comes down a meteor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then that brings up Sammy's point. It is very possible that Burgess just lifts the whole Colosseum and throws it at someone. Just tampering with it isn't.
I love how that's just coming back to us.
It's a good idea. Imagine him just throwing the Colosseum.
I mean, it's definitely possible if Diamante touches the Colosseum, makes it a fluttering object, and Burgess is like, okay, two can play at that game, and then he lifts the whole Colosseum.
I can buy that.
I just feel
Now we
sad
have
for all the
Diamante
people. I just feel sad for all the people there. What's your take on it, Riven? You've been awfully silent with just the giggles here and there.
Oh, it's I think he's gonna just
I agree.
Yeah, he's just gonna laugh. He's just gonna catch.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's just gonna be it. I think it's.
I mean, we've been talking about Burgess, but what do you guys think about Bartholomew?
I was going to come to that.
Is he throwing the Coliseum?
Well, I mean, if he creates a barrier and he ends up as like a sphere, and Diamante ends up fluttering the thing, wouldn't he just get bounced around? It's not like.
How would that work? I mean, how would you make a barrier flutter, especially a barrier that you can't see?
Well, maybe if he just touches it can flutter. He just needs to touch it, right? He doesn't need to see it.
That's true. I mean, an invisible person, you can still hit an invisible person. You just.
Like, I'm sure if Bartholomew faced off against Aokiji could easily freeze his barriers and break it apart, with his Logia powers.
Can he though? Is it that sort of power? I'm not sure.
Or would the ice just go over the barrier, and so
exactly.
if you broke it would just break the ice?
Either it goes over the barrier or it bounces off. I mean,
we know that
then again, Aokiji's ice is stronger. This is a moot discussion.
No,
Aokiji's ice would just go through.
We can presume that Burgess can just smash through the barrier, right? We saw him use the barrier, Bartholomew, as a object to attack Elizabetho or whatever his name was, the King Punch guy. So the barrier could actually connect with Elizabeth, whatever his name is. I can't even pronounce that anymore. So that does mean that it has a physical form of some sort, and it can be broken or tampered with. And I think if he manages to touch it, it will flutter if Diamante connects with it. Like, I don't know if Diamante has observation haki or any kind of other haki, and he senses something and he just touches it to make it flutter, and then the barrier is just fluttering. But I think it would be useless, because then Bartolomeo can just make that barrier vanish and create a new barrier. But it'll be just a repeat over and repeat over, repeat over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's true. It will be interesting to see. Maybe if Diamante is, far more powerful than Bartolomeo, then he might actually have an effect on the barrier too. If it's not
just core strength, but
yeah,
could maybe.
Because I do see certainly that Burgess not even being affected by the barrier. He may just, if he faces it, he'll be like, okay, let me try to punch through. Oh, this punch doesn't work. Let me try a harder punch, and then he eventually breaks through it.
And also the case with Burgess, I can definitely see Burgess combating the flutter fruit with just pure haki. And same with Sabo. I'm not sure Rebecca can do that. But
I think Burgess would tackle all problems with pure haki right now.
yeah.
He doesn't look very complicated.
Pure haki and fists. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Burgess is...
Oh, and wrestling.
Takt, are you satisfied with the answers for your question?
Yeah, sure, I am. I'm satisfied with the discussion, definitely.
So that brings us to an end of the Q&A segment, and also to the end of this podcast episode, our 8th episode, which took a change. Sammy couldn't join us as the host because he's unwell and he's coughing his way to death, I think. I'm not sure. So I hosted this episode of the podcast, and I hope I did justice to the pod, and I hope you guys enjoyed being here, Takt, Cam, and Riven.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And we'll see everyone next week. Hopefully Blackbeard decides to go easy on India, because we do have reports that Blackbeard is using his Gura Gura no Mi.
Oh yeah.
He's training in the Himalayas, causing micro earthquakes everywhere.
Maybe because there's another expected earthquake, though it is away from me. Like, they expect an 8-point Richter scale in north of India. So that's going to be, it's going to be devastating, because 8 and in north, where, you know how our government is in North Takt.
Yeah, I do know that.
They're going to be useless there if anything happens. So,
I just had this image of, Blackbeard sitting in a shop eating biryani and drinking lassi.
Oh.
Wish I understood that.
But
that is an epic image.
Wouldn't he want blueberry pie though, or whatever pie he likes? The one he was ordering at Jaya.
No, instead of pie, you can get, those? Any sort of Indian street food substitute for pie.
Okay, so Blackbeard, if you're listening to this podcast, go easy on us, please.
Laddu, that's it. Laddu, lassi, and biryani.
I don't think his stomach...
That is Blackbeard's diet.
His stomach wouldn't survive after that, though. I mean... Okay, we have gone into food talk, mostly making Raven hungry already.
Yes.
And this brings us to the closing of this podcast episode. I hope the listeners enjoyed this episode as well. And if you want me to host more in the future, just go and tell Sammy to step away as the host, okay? And I'll see you guys next week.
Write on Sammy's profile if you would like Divvens to become the permanent host.
Tell him, Sammy, get lost, we don't need you anymore. You're a jerk anyways.
Insert the following message onto Sammy's profile. Fuck off, Sammy.
Oh, we're just being rude. Anyways.
I'm sorry, Sammy. Just kidding.
We all love you, Sammy, and hopefully next week we don't hear your voice.
Yeah, get well soon.
I heard that.
Wow.
But
lamb to a slaughter right there.
Bye bye everyone.
Bye bye.
See ya.